Have one more down there. Clear.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, get the motion to accept the minutes of June 1st.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. The motion to accept the financial report payment on the bills.
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Have a budget amendment, Steve?
Yes, have one budget amendment. It's budget amendment number 2011-018. It's to recognize a justice assistance grant through Cecil County in the amount of $25,023 to be used for the purchase of laser shot, a tactical weapons simulator, and ancillary equipment for the Elkton Police Department.
Get a motion to accept budget amendment 2011-018.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Chief?
Mayor, I'd like to give the oath of office first, and then we'll introduce the new employees. We have Thomas Newton, who is presently attending the Baltimore County Police Academy. He'll be graduating next week. He's a resident of Northeast area and resides there with his wife and son, who are present here tonight.
Yeah, walk out.
So Tom, if you would come up, please, and Mayor, if you would join me.
When I say I, you just say your name. Okay. And repeat everything else.
Come on, Lois.
Relax now.
Get up and do your job.
I
Thomas Rothbard,
do swear and affirm
do swear and affirm
that I support the Constitution of the United States,
that I support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland,
to the state of Maryland,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and support the Constitution and laws thereof,
and I will, to the best of my skill
and I will, to the best of my skill
and judgment, diligently and faithfully,
and judgment, and diligently and faithfully,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of police officer
execute the office of police officer
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
according to the Constitution and laws of this state.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Lois, stay up here.
Congratulations.
Fouled him up a little bit on that one, didn't I? Lieutenant Allen is going to introduce our newest employees, which will consist of 2 recruits and our latest office associate who's been working here for a while, and I guess everybody has seen her, Tracy. So, Lieutenant, it's all yours.
Thank you, Chief. It's my pleasure to introduce a couple of employees to you tonight. And I'll just ask you to come forward, Matt Cusio, please. Matt's a police recruit who will be starting our Police Training Commission Academy starting July 18th this year. He and his wife Allison, who is here tonight, have been married. They've been married 5 years this September and are expecting their first child on Halloween, I believe. They reside in Cecilton, and originally they are from New Jersey. He is a certified emergency medical technician in New Jersey, and he's looking to transfer that here to Maryland. Since he's been 15, Matt's been really involved in community service as a volunteer firefighter, EMT, and also in politics a little bit, I think, in New Jersey. In 2006 to 2010, he taught rescue techniques and building collapse to SWAT teams and bomb squads in Jersey. He enjoys spending time with his 2 personal canines that he has, and he trains there. He's been helping in the records department for a couple of months, so we'll just welcome him. I'd like to introduce you. This is Commissioner Hicks.
Whereabouts in New Jersey you from?
Originally, Wayne Township, so it's very nice. Nice to meet you.
What about that for a second?
Thank you.
Why do you take pictures?
We will when he graduates the academy.
Nothing to picture in.
And then I'd like to introduce you to Ed Donnelly. No relation to Matt Donnelly, but he is a police recruit and he'll be joining Matt Puzio in the academy this year, starting in July, around Police Training Commission. He is originally from Pennsylvania and is currently living in Elkton. I think he's planning on moving to Cecil County at the end of the academy, so we'll be welcoming him. He's been a loss prevention specialist for Marmax Corporation, which is TJ Maxx and Marshall's Distribution Center. He's a Penn State graduate with a Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Law and Justice. He was an Eagle Scout and a sergeant in the Young Marine. So people join me in welcoming him to the department.
Pleasure.
And next I'd like to introduce Tracy Holter. A lot of you have probably already seen her. She's been working with us for a little while. She's our new day shift office associate for the records department. She and her husband Jeff, who is here with her tonight, they've been married for about 24 years and they live in Cecil County. They have 2 sons, Jeffrey, 25, who's currently serving in Iraq, and another son, Michael, 23, who just recently graduated from Salisbury University. She previously worked for Keystone Overhead Door here in Elkton for about 14 years as an office manager. So, and also, for about 7 years, she's been teaching driver's education in the county. So, you can just join me in welcoming her to the town as well.
Well, we all certainly like to say welcome to town of Elkton, and it's certainly a pleasure to have you here, and we'll certainly look forward to working with you.
First item I have is the contract and approved for reviewing. The Mary had solicited bids from 4 firms for portable toilets in the parks. The toilets, the bids were submitted to A1 Sanitation Service Inc., Atlantic Septic, Arrow Leasing Incorporation, Ewing Inc. I would suggest or would recommend that the town grant a contract with Ewing Incorporated. Total bid $7,328, the low bidder for this project.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the bid for the contract?
Second.
How much difference was the difference between this and what we were paying before? Big difference?
Your mics aren't working.
About $600 difference between Arrow and Ewing.
You hear now?
Not noisy yet.
Closer.
Closer to you. I'm sorry, Mike.
The bid from Ewing was $7,328. The bid from Arrow was $7,960. About $600 difference in our favor.
All right, a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next item I have is a deed for the 1.76 acres in Washington Woods, which includes the area where the stormwater pond and wastewater pumping station is. It's been there for many years, but it's never been dedicated to the town. The deed is being transferred through the town from Firestone Builders, Inc., Maryland Corporation, and Washington Woods Limited Partnership, and Nevada Limited Partnership to the mayor and commissioners for no amount of money as a dedication. Mr. Wilson has reviewed the deeds, and there is no encumbrances or anything. I recommend that the town accept the deed from Firestone and Washington Woods Limited Partnership for this stormwater pond.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept the Firestone Builders Limited Partnership then?
So move.
Second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
That's all I have.
Only thing I have is just to let everybody know that, I think I mentioned it last time, but we finally came up with a grand total for our fireworks, and we actually received total for $17,508.29. So certainly, again, I'd like to thank all the businesses that supported this effort, and we will have another wonderful 4th of July again. There, Joe?
I actually wanted to say something about that also. I saw the sign had gone up at Meadow Park on the gate. I think we really should have a sign acknowledging our sponsors.
We are making one up.
Perfect, because it is possible because of them. Also, kind of old business, we had discussed the sign ordinance and the sandwich board specifically at a workshop. Do we have any follow-up or update on that, on where we're at, or the planning department?
Well, Jeannie, I guess the comprehensive, they're working on that now. Still working on it. I don't know what section they're on, but they are
The
working.
plan?
Right.
Yeah, that's,
I don't know where they are.
it's going to take a while. It's like a section at a time.
Two sections. Yeah.
Okay. And Louis, there's a few lights out on the flag on the corner of North and Main.
Street lights, you mean?
No, the lights that are in the ground to keep it lit,
Oh, okay.
and that's all I have.
I just have one concern. Coming down Delaware Avenue, still notice that we've got to come up with some kind of way to get people to cross that bridge when traffic's coming through there, because we're getting a lot more people traveling that route now. I'm not sure whether we can do anything on the other side of the bridge. We need to do something, because someone's going to end up getting hurt. I watched 3 kids waiting with their parents to go through, and it's just a chaos out there. So I know that it's not our road, Delaware Avenue, but someone needs to put some heat on somebody because of safety. It's a safety issue to me.
Yeah, I actually stopped tonight going home so people could cross
So,
over that bridge.
I don't know. I know we can't widen it and all that. Maybe we need to get a ramp or something on the other side of it. Have them put some kind of a walking ramp or something on the other side of the bridge, just so the pedestrians can walk.
Come up with some kind of an idea, yeah, work it out some way. Charlie?
Louis, there was a group of people over to, can't even think, Friendship Road that wanted a speed hump. Have you gotten back information regarding that yet?
The deadline on the surveys is June 30th, and the surveys will come back. And
Okay.
also, I think that PPD is doing a metro count as well for traffic, and so we'll check this week and notify something.
Right. And Lord, you want to bring the board up to date. I asked you to go over to 104 Mitchell Street. Mr. Rhodes, Edward Rhodes, was interested in getting something on his porch to assist his wife to get out of the home because of a handicapping condition she had.
Yes, I met with him, and of course he had met with Craig also. He's in R1 zone on that side of the street, which is a 30-foot setback. His house is right at the setback distance, and he has only certain options available to him. He uses, he wants to construct a ramp of concrete, obviously that would apply without variance. But his initial design, I believe, was a larger structure made of wood, which violated the setback requirement, therefore requiring a variance. And he was advised that he could get a variance or apply for a variance before zoning appeals. I don't think he initially did, and I know he was in the other day, but I don't know if he filed an application for the next meeting. If he gets a variance granted by the Board of Zoning Appeals, then he can build his ramp and his little porch structure.
Yeah, but going back a couple of months, I guess he was interested in doing something immediately, but I understand what the documentation that the board has, so thanks. That's it.
Commissioner Nix?
I would like to add to Commissioner Jablonski's request for the sign for our sponsors for the fireworks. And I would please ask that the format or the layout of that sign be brought to the board so we can actually see that before it goes up.
Okay, Mary's working on
I don't have no other meetings.
I'm not,
I bring it to the board because
it may not require an actual meeting.
our next meeting is the 6th, it'll be after the
I think
event.
basically what they usually did was put all the top sponsors and list them as they went down,
Okay.
according to gold, platinum, so forth like that.
Oh, okay.
Sponsors. And then
Now,
we
usually
put it
the
on
wording
on
is
the
larger
park entrance.
also.
Then we have a big banner going across.
Okay.
What we would do, there's a lot of sponsors' names, so we'd have to submit something, for example, accent or taking place or something. It would take a little bit of time for them to prepare it with a vinyl sign we put up. But I don't know if we can prepare a format for them to submit to the board for review and have it created.
Okay, okay.
I think what we just signed with the gold sponsors, if you just thank you to our sponsors, then it's larger font for the larger sponsors. They know how to set it up and they can do it very quickly.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, you know, that would, I would be satisfied with that. I just want to make sure everyone gets mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she's got the, Mary has the list.
I was approached by some residents in the on from Melbourne Boulevard concerning a speed bump. There have been several accidents, meaning more than one on that particular street. I think 2 residents' vehicles have been hit, as well as the I believe the light post at the corner there on the bend on Melbourne Boulevard, that was actually taken out as well. So there is a concern by the neighbors of speeding on that particular road. So if we get something, I guess a review for that, I would appreciate.
What we do, we initiate according to policy, we initiate a survey, and then we mass survey. The police have to set up a metric count, and there's a number of steps you have to go through, and then we bring it back to the board. So
Okay.
if the board requests, then I'll initiate the survey for Melbourne Boulevard.
Okay, now, did he also take into account accidents that actually happened,
Yes.
have occurred? Okay, great.
Yes.
And the last thing I have is, again, I was approached by residents in the Delancey Village area, requesting code enforcement, and I would really like to have some follow-up on the activity.
What location?
Danford Drive, I believe, Delancey Village.
What are they looking for, may I ask?
Untagged cars, high grass, trash, actual downspouts missing. They just gave me a list of things, especially to look in the rear of the property.
So what about items in the people's yard? That's not enforceable, is that correct? I'm just asking you a question.
I know, but when you say items, if you're talking about trash and things like that, that would be one thing. But if you're speaking of, like, you know, lawn chairs, of course, things like that, that's totally different. but that was the concern. It was just, things have been put out, like for example, for trash, been put out like a day or 2 days in advance and set at the curb in an open space area. And they are very concerned that, the area is, just very quickly degrading.
I just wish there was some policy where, and I know you can't enforce where trash needs to adhere to certain enforcement, because like I said, on Main Street, trash is picked up whatever day. That trash is sitting out there for people's obvious concern 2-3 days ahead. It just looked tacky.
Yes.
But like I said before, I don't know what you can do.
I do believe our pamphlet or directions that were given out, I think by Public Works, requires that it be done, after 7 p.m. the day before. I believe that was it. And, that can be enforced, I believe. I'm not sure, but if we could look into that, that would be good as well. Also, there was a pamphlet that was developed, an actual code enforcement look for type pamphlet that was developed in the department. Maybe we can do some type of awareness with that, using that to educate the area or the community.
Yeah. I really think we need to do that because we're depending on the website, which a lot of people do now, but we do have people that don't go on that website. And I know lately I have been getting approached by, how come my grass hasn't picked up, what day does this come, that come? So I think a once a year reminder on that with that pamphlet that Chuck's creating.
The recycle notice included all that we just sent out. When was that? Just May. Yeah, we included all the schedule in addition to the recycles, the regular trash service, where it was, when you pick up stuff, and everything was done.
I know.
To 5,000 all customers.
Yeah.
They did get it, and immediately on the site. So keep sending out, but it costs us
I know.
$1,000 every time we do that.
Yeah.
That's it. Becky, anything?
I'm not sorry. Please.
You can sit down if you like. Yes, it doesn't. Sure.
Thank you. My name is Rebecca McKinney. I'm from Cecil County, 72 years almost. I'm very well disgusted with Elkton. And when I'm disgusted, the mayor knows I'm disgusted. I'm very well unhappy, and Louis, you ought to know that this as much as you've done. Anyway, personally, I think we need officers to set out back where I live. Where I live is for adults and people that's older, and there is a lot older than I am there. I'm doing my best. We're doing wonderful with bingo. Once a month bingo. Once a month we have meals. Twice a month, I'm sorry. And twice a month we have movies. I've rigged it up to where we have that, and I'm in charge of it. And I'm very glad Cindy let me do this to help the older people. We have children with skateboards that come in, and we have an elderly lady that's 98 years old, is on my floor, that works herself out to death, planting flowers, and I bought some flags for her to put in her flower bed, and they were stolen about last night with a bunch of teenagers on roller skates, and we was in bingo, but I said, excuse me, I'll be back. And we had bingo up, and I went outdoors, and not only did I flag down a sheriff department, I flagged the state police down, because it doesn't do any good to talk to Elkton. It's like talking to the flag that don't move. So anyway, you have to flag them down so you can get something done. They took four boys. Now before that, I caught something that shouldn't even be on the street, was on Mary Jo's property. Mary Jo is part of me. She's like my family. because I had known Mary Jo and I'd done a lot of things together and I love Mary Jo. What was on her property was not a very pretty thing. Is that elderly man, or whatever you want to call him, older man with the umbrella and the dolls and everything. It upset me when I seen two children. I was just maybe 16 and 15, maybe younger, sitting there, and they were not doing something very good. It upset me very bad. It's in our town. When people come out of town to see this, they don't want to see somebody sitting there doing something they should be home doing. And we need this man picked up and taken off the street. We got him from 150, and I don't care what he calls me because I did it, and Mr. Hicks knows. But I cannot believe this man is getting away with the things he's getting away in this town with all the officers. Down by the fruit stand, he's sitting with boys and girls. So, you know, it's like a thing that shouldn't be, you know, done in our town. And I think that, I mean, I don't like flagging down state polices and sheriff's department. But I'm definitely going to not call 911. Are you dead? Where'd you see the fight at? Who's fighting? Where are they at? What kind of clothes? It's dark. Dark. We can't see in the dark. Well, them questions is beyond me. I'm not stupid, I'm not retarded, and I'm dumb. And that's for somebody to ask them questions kind of are a little bit slow. And I also appreciate what Mary Jo has done for this town because she's done a lot. Mr. Hicks, Mr. Gibbons, Earl Finer, and Joe. Now, George Lewis. What
Becky, before you go to Lewis, what is this person doing downtown? I must miss something.
Do what, huh?
You were talking about this guy. What is he doing?
I'd like to say that now.
But you just said that he's doing something. I must miss something. I'm not trying to prolong what you're saying, but for the records, what is he doing?
He's not doing things very nice. I would be, if I was going to do the things he did, I would be at home. I wouldn't be
Is
in
it
public.
sexual misconduct? Is it abusing children?
Yes.
Is doing what is it?
Well, definitely he's abusing teenagers.
Okay, so it's sexual misconduct. Okay, for
Right.
the record, so we know. Okay, I'm sorry.
Right.
Now you can get back to
And,
Lewis.
Thank you. Anyway, George Lewis, the Lewis George. What are we going to do about the building? You tore the old building down, which is good.
This
you
isn't
know.
my meeting, Becky. This is the mayor and commissioner meeting. You should direct the comments to them, please.
Okay, Joe. Sorry, I made a mistake.
What building?
Anyway, the building that belongs to the white hair has an awful odor coming from it, and the cinder blocks that's attached to the building are breaking loose. It's in 100% critical condition. Can I ask you if you can see something about it? Thank you, and God bless you.
No,
And
thank
Mary
you.
Jo, I'll be with you on the fall fest. And if there's anything I can do for you, meanwhile, let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Littenberg?
Bob Luxembourg, 105 Walnut Lane. I'd like to know what the status on the old business of the town engineer. Are you still looking for a person to fill that position, or has that been eliminated? I guess I should ask Louis that.
You're asking the board and they ask
I'm asking you because you're going to be probably
the
the one to answer
engineers,
the
we're
question.
soliciting engineer.
Pardon me? You're still soliciting?
Yes,
Okay.
it's on the website, it's in the paper.
Mr. Piner, what's going on with the community center? Any
Yeah, we had-
report on that?
We had a meeting Well, last meeting, we had a meeting scheduled for the 8th, but apparently due to graduation and everything, it had to be rescheduled. So there's still some ongoing property that we're seeking and looking, and some developers are coming in with their plans.
There's other
Yes.
people that are being considered.
Yes, sir.
Other locations. And this comes right back to you, what you were talking about, the bridge down there. The bridge up at Childs is being replaced, which we all know by the state because he said it's not wide enough. Now that's a crock, we all know it. It's one of the better bridges in Cecil County. Blue Ball Road doesn't have a shoulder on it all the way up to 273. But yet they've got to build a bigger bridge to make it wider. I think you ought to get together with the state representatives and get some kind of action on that bridge at Delaware Avenue. Because like Mary Jo said, you had to stop letting people cross it. You could put with your welder, maybe he could build a hanging bridge over on the other side of that thing, just for pedestrian walk. It's an idea. But somebody definitely is going to be hurt. But the only way I think you're going to get anything done is to go through your House of Delegates and the Senate to get that done.
Thank you.
Speed bumps, which Charles talked about, I've had them up on my street for, what, 3-4 years now, probably one of the first streets you put up there. Speed bumps don't work unless you have people that are there to give these people tickets. Charlie knows what I'm talking about on that street. It's a speed zone. And they see how fast, the high school kids particularly, how fast they can go over the speed bump. Until you start giving some speeding tickets, those things are not going to do you one bit of good in those neighborhoods. And I think you all will probably agree with me on that one. Thank you.
Okay. That's it. The motion to adjourn.
I'd like to close the meeting and take you 10 minutes and I'll have you out of here. And I'll, second.
Second.
On personnel.
Okay.
And I'll make a motion that we dismiss.
Oh, okay, we have a motion and a second on our closed meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we will not be reconvening.